Greetings, subject. Welcome to Writing Labs. Today we are discussing the hero archetypal arc as put out by Weiland. Ever humble leader, the head of Tremaine and a cyborg. For many in our organisation, the concept of literary archetypes provide a window into writing and allow us to create more immersive and creative stories. When we talk about hero archetypes, as we did with the Maiden arc, they are not gender specific. The hero can be Luke Skywalker or Katniss Everdeen. Nothing limits this archetype. So we will go over what an archetype is, what an arc is, the plot points of the hero arc, why Hero with 1,000 Faces is problematic, what shadow arcs are, a shadow arc of the hero's journey, what the antagonist to an arc is, and what they are to the hero arc. Then I will wrap up with a conclusion. But before that, I have to promote the rest of the Writing Labs platform. If you are looking for short punchy videos about writing archetypes and sci-fi, check out our Instagram, TikTok and Threads, all listed in the description below. What are archetypes? I said it in the Maiden arc video and I probably will say it until I'm in the grave. But archetypes deserve a video of their own. But for a quick run over, the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung created 12 original archetypes that differed from the Freudian views on life. His 12 archetypes formed the basis for the groundbreaking work Hero with 1,000 Faces by Joseph Campbell. Campbell introduced the idea of the monomyth, or something that occurs in all cultures, mythology and stories regardless of location and time. The issues with this we will discuss later. What is an arc? An arc, like Freytag's pyramid or the 3-act structure, is how a character can progress. Usually a character either achieves their goals or doesn't. This is very general, but for our purposes it'll do. An example is when Anakin kills Palpatine in Return of the Jedi. He brings balance to the Force and fulfills the prophecy. So we see from when Anakin was a boy, that being the start of the arc, then we get the inciting incident of Anakin leaving with Qui-Gon. We get a few pinch points, the major being Anakin being consumed by Darth Vader. However, at the climax we will see him sacrifice himself for Luke, to save Luke and end Palpatine. That is a character arc, and that is what we are discussing. The hero's archetypal character arc. Beginning, complacent but unfulfilled. After passing through the Maiden arc, if you missed that video, here it is, and the link will be in the description. The hero will be an adult, but still seeking adventure or something to break up the monotony. We all know that feeling. Luke Skywalker was a bored moisture farmer. You may be a grocer, a salesperson, an office worker, and dream of a world far beyond our own. Maybe not fighting in a war, but maybe being a writer or a director or some sort of creative. Being in the village is a safe zone. People don't often quit their jobs and try to become an actor. So does the hero. They do not seek to lead the village. Call to adventure. Alright, we know life is boring, but say one day at work you get fired, and instead of going back into the industry, you do what Lee Child did and pursue a new career of adventure. Well, this is what happens to the hero. A stranger or a force drives them to leave the village. In some way, they will try to avoid leaving, but once they get to the next step, there's no turning back. Crosses the threshold. Now Luke or you are buggered. Your auntie and uncle are dead, and you are now being hunted by the Empire. So you follow your stranger into a new world. In terms of the arc, this is where things start to get mystical. The Force is introduced, the stakes begin to appear. The villain may be conspiring at this. Who do you think you are? Alright, Smarty, you left the village and then got a lightsaber. You received a little training. Then you faced a villain of some sort. You were warned not to, but you went anyway. Now you need to think about yourself and what you are going to do. Remembering who he is. No, not necessarily he, but let's go with it. You've been knocked down, but you have seen where your potential is and what you can achieve. Yes, Vader is your dad and the Empire is growing, but one day you could be a Jedi. It's all your fault. Once more you are punched in the gut. You tried, or maybe you were arrogant and someone didn't like that. Now you're kicked to the curb and need to rethink things. False victory. Alright, big shot, you managed a victory, but it isn't the end of your story. You have a few more people to kick you down. This victory is hollow and you have sacrificed your beliefs to achieve nothing. All is lost. Now we have it. Luke threw his lightsaber aside and refused to join the dark side. The Empire has captured Han and Leia. That's it. Show's over. Wrong! All is lost, but there is still hope somewhere. The hero must decide whether they stay power-hungry and immature, or to finally ascend. The hero in our case, Star Wars case, being Darth Vader. Resurrection. Sometimes this can be a real resurrection, such as the return of Anakin Skywalker from his spiritual death. But for many it is the turn in the tide of battle. Chewbacca and a bunch of buck-toothed teddy bears have shown up. Dragon vanquished. Alright, the teddy bears have knocked out the shield. The rebels are closing in on the Death Star. But Luke! What will happen to Luke? Then it happens. Anakin is reborn. He throws off his shackles and throws the dragon or the Emperor off the ledge. Kingdom at peace. Now the hero can come home with the elixir and heal the kingdom. Or they can ascend to the higher rank and lead a new age of Jedi. Why Joseph Campbell's version is problematic. Alright, Jordan Peterson fans, don't click away. Campbell is the dad of archetypes and will never lose that position, but it cannot be denied he wrote his book, Hero with a Thousand Faces, from a colonial imperialist view. The book was written in 1949. For those of you who aren't American history buffs, that's before the Civil Rights Movement. Joseph Campbell was advanced for his day, but now his book is written with sexism, racism, and colonialist attitudes. Issues with the book start at the roots of the archetypes themselves. Basing anything on Freud will eventually bite you. Jung is a great deal better, but both men are flawed, not just by our time standards, but by their own. Freud and Jung were unashamedly bad scientists, preferring to use personal experience and small research groups as evidence rather than proper scientific research methods. Campbell was building on rocky ground, and his poor scholarship skills made the ground even worse. For example, the section of Campbell's book where he compares Maui and Jonah as similar, this is an example of poor research or outright lying. Maui was consumed by a whale, yes, but he dies. Jonah, who is swallowed by a whale, finds a livable magical environment. Campbell may have had an agenda to prove the collective unconscious Jung had theorized. Regardless of his motives, it has sullied the archetype's line. Why doesn't this apply to Cam Weiland? Well, as a modern writer, many of the aspects of the poorly researched have been amended. Rather than boiling all mythology and storytelling into a single story, Weiland uses 6 archetypes and archetypal arcs and does not claim they are the root of all storytelling. So before we lose ourselves in the arguments around archetypes, which we will address in the archetypes video, let's move swiftly on. What are shadow arcs? Shadow arcs are essentially what happens if the protagonist chooses to fail or to passively fail. Coward. The coward wants to stay in the village. They may want to find something fun. Are afraid. Which is fair enough, new worlds are scary, but this is a passive refusal to the call of adventure. When the call arrives, the coward shrugs and says someone has to brush the bully. The bully is left in return, but they do not accept peace or love. They have been twisted and will become more of a hassle than they are worth. What is an antagonist to an arc? What do you think of when I say an enemy of the hero? A dragon? Palpatine? Well, that is what the antagonist to the hero is. The dragon and Sick King act as passive and aggressive opponents to the positive arc. Dragon. The dragon is like Palpatine, my personal favourite character if you couldn't tell. Palpatine is more powerful than Luke. He is the princess initially. He threatens the kingdom the hero lives in. He acts as the poison destroying the galaxy. That is what a perfect dragon is. This would be an example of an aggressive antagonist. Sick King. The Sick King is linked with a later video that will be done on the King arc. But for this video we will say the king has fallen ill and can't rule properly, or it may represent something wrong with the kingdom. Whatever it may be, it is destroying the kingdom in a passive way, like a rot in a tree. Soon the kingdom will succumb. Conclusion. So subject, what have we learned? Archetypes are useful literary tools. Arcs are the projection of the protagonist stories. What chapters there are in the arc. Why Campbell is controversial. What shadow arcs are. And how they work in the hero arc. And finally, what an antagonist to an arc is and the two that exist for the hero arc. I thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more, and to press the bell to be updated when more videos like this come out. Remember, our social media links are in the description. Thank you once again. Till next time, subject, I wish you luck in the lab.